Hey, we are back. Apparently, my microphone's quite low. I apologise for the level of my audio. I don't want to try and fix it midstream, so I'm just going to talk slightly louder. And I'm joined now by Dan Thomas
Hello.
and Alex from Game Dev Heroes. Hey, Alex.
Hello. How's it going?
Good. Thank you for joining us on the show. For those of you at home who may not be aware of what Game Dev Heroes is, first of all, shame on you. But second, Game Dev Heroes is an awards ceremony, an annual ceremony that celebrates the people behind the games industry. So it celebrates designers, developers, QA, support staff, production, everything that goes into making games that we know and love. The people behind them really celebrates them. And obviously, historically and usually, it's a in-person ceremony. You know, people would go to the same big room and give out the awards in person. This year they couldn't do that, so they did a virtual ceremony. If you've not checked it out yet, after the show, go and check out twitter.com/GameDevHeroes and check out all the winners in video form. Alex is the host of the show, and he's done a very good job. Well done, Alex.
Thanks. Do my best.
Yeah, and he joins us here to talk about the show. We want to basically quiz him about Game Dev Heroes. Dan, you're a big Game Dev Heroes fan. You've attended before. How do you think this year's event has compared?
I think Alex and the Game Dev Heroes team have done a phenomenal job. It is, as we all know, a wacky world we're living in. And as you mentioned, Game Dev Heroes historically is a real world event where you actually get to see other humans, which is a unusual treat in this day and age. Um, yeah, and I think it's normally held around the same time as Develop, which is a big industry conference that happens down in Brighton. So there's already a good bunch of people and a good atmosphere. And then the Game Dev Heroes Awards is just such a good event. And um, as most people will probably aware, Develop got postponed and then postponed again, and now that's being a digital event. So yeah, kind of to be in this situation and to pull together a digital event that's gone as well as it has, I think is excellent. So yeah, well done, Alex. Do you want to tell us a bit about how this has come about?
Yeah, what in terms of Game of Heroes? Yeah, I mean, this was an idea that was sort of rattling around my brain about 4 years ago, where I sort of work across a lot of industry events and a lot of trade initiatives and projects, and even though there are lots of really good award ceremonies, they tend to recognize a game or a company. So when you're at that event, you've normally got the CEO going up on stage to accept the award on behalf of hundreds of people across different disciplines. And I always thought, well, it would be great if there was like a people awards, where we just recognize some, people that are really good at what they do, but also just really good people as well, because sometimes that's all you need to make your day great, where you're working next to someone who's just a really amazing, human being. So that's when we came up with the idea for Game Dev Heroes, which would put the spotlight on unsung talent, but would also put the spotlight on just your really awesome colleague. And yeah, if Dan can remember, the first year was very much a fringe event for Develop Conference, and we were in a pub, well, in a room above a pub on probably one of the hottest days of the year. And an hour before the event started, I said, "Oh, can we open some windows? Can we get some aircon on?" And the reply was, "Well, the aircon doesn't work, and I'll get a bloke to get up to see if we can open those windows, which haven't been opened since 2010." So it was a very sort of steamy affair. Game of Heroes year one.
Intimate, I think it was fair to say,
Intimate,
but it was nice.
yeah. It was nice, and the main takeaway was it was a nice wholesome event where people were really okay just to sort of persevere through the searing heat, and just recognize and applaud their peers and people that are in the industry that are great. So the next year was an extension of that, just a slightly bigger venue, but it still had the same kind of love in the room, and we just managed to select a really good roster of finalists. And we always have one eye on the balance as well, making sure that the finalists, there's a good balance of diversity and male and female finalists, and all colours and creeds and everything. So we just make sure that it's just open to everyone. And I think that was the only advantage of making it digital this year, and that most finalists could have been from anywhere because they didn't have to make the trip to Brighton to actually physically accept the award. So we thought, well, at least that's a nice thing, that we know that the winners, wherever they are, they're going to be able to accept the award in a digital fashion. So yeah, it was a shame that this year has come with so many different changes and uncertainty, but we wanted to make sure that the winners got their recognition, got their moment in the sun, so to speak. So yeah, this was the best kind of scenario we were going with, and thankfully, had to have partners like yourselves, Creative Assembly, No Breaks, and EPOS to sort of, get involved on this more tweaked kind of slimmer version was great. So yeah, couldn't be happier, really.
Yeah. And obviously, so this year was all video. All those videos, they're kind of on YouTube and on Twitter. You can watch them all. You're in the videos. You do a very good job. Was it challenging trying to get people to... I know people like submitted acceptance speeches basically remotely, and they've been really interesting seeing like into people's homes and how they record themselves. Has that been challenging to collect those?
Yeah, it was. I mean, again, another thing with the winners of Game Day Fair is they don't tend to be the most extrovert, out there people because they've been nominated by their colleagues or friends even. So it's a different kind of has a different kind of personality than the BAFTAs. So obviously we were ready for some of them to go, you know what, I'm not comfortable filming myself saying thanks, but luckily the majority were okay to do it, and then the others we just made sure that there was a nice placeholder and some text. But yeah, I mean, the whole turnaround was like in a week or so because we didn't want to send the trophies out too early that they just couldn't hold it any longer and had to tell their friends, but not so late where we're announcing the winners and they're like, well, where's my trophy? I don't have a trophy. So it was a bit of a logistical kind of plan that we're not used to, with like getting the trophies out to everyone in the post. So yeah, thankfully it's been enough, and we thought, well, let's spread it across 3 days and just have 4 awards a day, so at least no one's having to sit there for like a good 90 minutes at a screen watching it, because as you've seen with digital events, the fatigue can sort of sink in quite quickly now.
Yeah. And a great crop of winners this year. I think everyone's, at least from the set I've seen on Twitter, everyone seems really happy with the winners. Lots of celebrations, lots of love for the winners in all their various disciplines.
I think it's really interesting. You kind of touched on this before, Alex. Like, it's not just about best game or technical improvement. It is actually about the people and the roles. And so I was going to do this. Do you want to rattle through the categories and the winners? Just kind of share some of the variety of.
Right. I brought it with me.
He's prepared.
So in no particular order. So the winner for programming was Laura DeMay from Us Two. Design winner. Let's have a break for applause. Yeah. So,
rapturous round of applause.
Design category. The winner was Fauzi Mesmar, who was head of design at EA Dice. The winner for writing and narrative design was Olivia Wood of Fail Better Games. I think Fail Better have pretty much taken home maybe 3 Game Dev Heroes awards now, so something's good at that company.
Something in the water.
Art and animation was Lukia Kuliakadu from Roll7. Well done. Jade Liam Charaskal. Sorry I thought I would have gotten away with it this year, because every year I'm on stage reading up the finest names, and some of them have got the kind of names where you're just like, I don't know, I'll give it a go. I thought I got away with it this year, guys. Thanks very much. So Jade, she won the sound category, and she's sound. Well, she's freelance, I think, Jade. So she's just brilliant, and all the winners and finalists from the sound category got themselves an EPOS headset, a GPS 600, if I believe so, GSP 600. Production was Sally Morgan Moore, producer for No Breaks Games. Well done, Sally. Now QA, which is a category that a lot of people appreciate, actually, because I think it's amazing that you've got a QA category. So we're always thrilled to have this category. So that was Holly Gordon, senior QA tester at Rocksteady.
That really is the unsung heroes, isn't it? QA, they don't get a look in, and it is such a pivotal role. And it is really good to see it getting recognised.
Yeah, it is brilliant. It is great. Well, I mean, the Marketing and Community Award, which you guys partnered with this year, and it's no surprise really. I mean, it's Oliver Hindle, who's now community director or something at Mediatonic. He's recently got himself a promotion, but yeah, well deserved for Oliver, age 24. The leadership trophy went to Richard Simmons, who's technical director at Rare. Congrats, Richard. Progression advocate was Marina Diaz, who's creative director at Three of Cups. And unsung hero, an unsung hero is always a difficult one because that can transcend anything. You know, you could be office manager, you could be a receptionist. It really doesn't matter. It's just the types of nominations that we read that we have to fight, have to try and cherry pick to 12 people. So the winner for unsung hero was Ian Hamilton, who's an accessibility specialist and has done great things for Xbox and for accessibility as a general topic to be sort of considering in the games industry. And then last but not least was Craig Duncan. He won the Outstanding Contribution Award for Rare. And Craig is an extremely modest chap, I had to call him up to let him know, and it was he was getting a tattoo done. And it was the most surreal phone call I've ever had, where I had to tell him, between the pain, that he's, won the Outstanding Contribution Award. And Craig is a very modest person, so I don't think he knew how to react, because he was kind of like, thanks, because he's just that kind of person. It's like, that, please, just it's me and Rare. It's not just me taking all the credit.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, he's a well deserved winner for this year. So yeah, that's our Game Dev Heroes 2020.
And what was his tattoo of, did you ask?
It was Game Dev Heroes winner 2020 across his chest.
You should definitely go back next week and get that done. I think he's a Liverpool fan, if I'm not mistaken, so maybe something related to that. I don't know. We should tweet him and ask him, actually, just out of interest.
Get that on there.
Maybe don't ask him to take a picture of it, just in case it's somewhere.
Yeah.
That just lends more embarrassment. Yeah, it's like. But no, it was good.
Yeah, congratulations to all those winners and indeed all the nominees. You can find the full list at gamedevheroes.co, or like I say, Twitter is a great Twitter account you can scroll through and just feel the dopamine of people being celebrated and watch their acceptance speeches, which is a lot of fun to do. I know it's early doors, Alex, but have you got any ideas about 2021? It's going to happen again, hopefully?
Well, I think there's so much uncertainty, isn't there, just in terms of events. I mean, I was supposed to be going for a pub lunch in Essex this weekend, and now I can't. So I think we obviously will be doing something next year, and this week's gone well. So if anything, if we find that there isn't a developed conference that we can join to do it, or if we don't think it's worth having as a standalone event, then yeah, we will be back next year, either a digital or physical, or possibly a hybrid of both. But we're growing, and it gets a lot of interest every year. So fingers crossed we can do something for 2021.
Yeah, that sounds great. Anything else you'd like to ask, Dan, or shall we wrap things up there?
No, I'd be curious to know, Alex, any lessons learned from this transition to online events. And I do think Game Dev Heroes has done something a bit different, and I've seen some other awards, and I think the format you've chosen was really good and made it nice and digestible, and people can interact with it at their own pace. But any lessons that you've learned, or any challenges that you thought, that was easier than I expected, harder than I expected? Anything you want to share on that front?
I'd like to say that it's been an absolute nightmare, but no, it's actually been really good, and I think we're just very thankful that enough people appreciate Game Dev Heroes enough to sort of get their phone out and record a thank you speech, and we managed to get enough in, and we had the flurry of videos from Rare, because like I said, I only called Craig last week just to let him know, so everyone was able to mobilize quickly, which was great. So But I think, yeah, in hindsight, yeah, maybe just a little bit more forward planning would be good. But no, I think all things considered, it went really well. So yeah, no complaints from behind the scenes. I think everyone's happy that we managed to deliver it, because at one point it was like, well, what do we do? There's no development anymore, and we've got other things happening in our lives, but we couldn't just sort of sit on that list of nominations and just not do anything with it, because we had so many people we wanted to recognize this year. So yeah, it's been great.
Very cool. One last quick question. You mentioned your other specialist subject, 90s indie bands. Do you want to hit us with your favorite 90s indie band?
See, so it's a really good thing you should mention that, actually, because today is the 30th year anniversary of the release of a band of the album Nowhere by a band called Ride, who are actually still going. They broke up, but they got back together and did a couple more albums. But Nowhere is their classic belter, amazing album. Go and listen to it on Spotify right now. And yeah, that's my 90s indie bit of trivia for you.
Very cool. And I literally just noticed earlier, it's also the 30th anniversary of The Secret of Monkey Island today. So maybe it's listen to that soundtrack and play some Monkey Island, and that's the evening.
I'd be interested to see how that plays out. If we were to play some Monkey Island with some sort of shoegaze coming through the speakers, that would be quite interesting, quite ethereal. It'll be fun. I should try that.
There we go. We're all about new experiences this year, so
yeah,
that's it.
Yeah, this is it.
Well, before you all run off to Spotify to listen to that or to play Secret of Monkey Island, don't forget to follow us on Twitch if you're watching live. If you're watching us on archive on YouTube, then hit subscribe. And if you subscribe on YouTube, there's a little bell icon as well. If you press that, YouTube will tell you when we're going live and uploading things, which is really nice. This has been the X Play Weekly live show. Thanks to all my guests today, Ben Joy, Dan Thomas, and Alex from Game Dev Heroes. Make sure you check out all that great stuff, and we will see you next week, same time, same place, Thursday, 4 p.m. Thanks, guys. See ya.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
See you guys.
Bye.
You gotta keep waving, Alex.
Yeah, just keep waving forever. Never stop waving. That's the rule.